Hello and welcome back to the SpyShack podcast, this podcast where Survivor superfans get together and talk about the latest episode of Survivor. Today we are going to be discussing the double episode 10 of Survivor Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers. I am your substitute host yet again, Randy. I am subbing in for Saul while Saul is out. With me, I have our two co-hosts. Kim, how are you doing today? And tell us one word that you would use to describe the episode. Kim, I can't hear you right now. Mark, how are you doing?
Great. It was very exciting 2 hours to watch, and my word for the week would be U-turn.
U-turn. Kim, are you back?
Do you hear me?
There you go.
Okay.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay, and like always, I want to say I love and I miss my son every day, and my word is obvious: blindsides.
Blindsides, that's a good one. Well, I am Randy. I am leading the charge tonight, and my word would be uprising. We saw a good uprising this episode. So we have a double episode tonight. So let us know if you're in the chat. Talk to us. Let us know your questions, your comments. If you disagree with us, agree with us, let us know. So we'll go ahead and jump into the first part of the episode. We get back from the tribal where Cole goes home, and Joe basically tells Mike, you played a stupid move. Why did you play your idol? What did you guys think of this discussion?
I thought it was some fight.
Kim, I think you're still a little bit cut out. We can't really hear you very well. Mark, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, Joe's going to be Joe, and Mike sensed danger, even though he wasn't in direct line of fire, but I think he felt enough to justify him using his idol. So I don't really completely blame Mike for using the idol, but Joe is absolutely just digging in way too deep. So
yeah, Joe definitely gives Mike a hard time here. I don't agree with Mike's decision to play the idol. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me.
Yep.
I think he tried to backtrack afterwards and be like, yeah, it was just I wanted to save you. I wanted to build our relationship. And I think he's just kind of covering his own ass there because it was a bad decision. He could have definitely saved that and used that for a time when it could have actually been helpful. But I see what he's saying. Yes, he built a relationship with Joe, but I think it wasn't worth playing an idol. Kim, what are your thoughts?
I agree. I don't think that the idol was a smart move. There was no reason to use it. I know that Mike thought like he pulled a Joe at Tribal and, I'm going to make everyone mad at me and hate me and they're going to vote me out and I'm going to play my idol. But then it still wouldn't have made any sense because if they would have split the votes, then Joe would have left. So it was just a dumb move altogether. I don't understand why he did it. And the thing is that nobody knew we had an idol.
Yeah.
The only person who knew we had it is gone.
Yeah, it does sound like, in hearing some exit press, it does sound like there may have been some sketchy stuff going on that was edited out of the show at Tribal. But from what we saw, it didn't look like a good move.
Agree.
Yeah. So after this scene, we head right into the first reward challenge of the night. In this reward challenge, it is the Baylor Wilson Memorial Challenge. That's what I always feel like I have to call it because I always remember Baylor winning this. You have to use your feet to stack blocks and then plant a flag in the middle. The prize is a seaplane tour with burgers. Kind of just they have random prizes, it seems like. Mike and Lauren get into a pretty easy and dominating lead. No one looks close to them, really. They kind of battled out the whole way. Mike goes for the win. Knocks over a block, Lauren wins. This is great to see Lauren win 2 challenges in a row. Someone that no one really thought about at the beginning of the season. She said from the beginning she's a competitor. She wanted to play early in the season and some challenges, and she got told to sit out. So it's really nice to see her get to step up and win 2 challenges. Then when given the choice, she gets to pick 3 people to go with her on the reward. First, she picks Devin. I thought this was a good first pick. A little bit surprising that he was the first pick she made. Then she picks Ben, and then finally Ashley to create her group. What did you guys think of this reward challenge and Lauren's picks here?
I like this reward challenge. It was cool to see how good Mike and Lauren did because nobody gives them the props
Absolutely.
and to see how good those two were doing, because you definitely didn't see them doing well. I enjoyed it. I like Mike and I like Lauren. Her picks for the reward, I was surprised by Devin, but then when you think about it, it's all strategic. She's not picking her friends. She's picking who's going to help further her game. The reward was okay. It's just eating. Like the seaplane, kind of boring. You know, it was just like, we're going to take you on a seaplane to go eat some food.
Yeah.
You could have taken the seaplane completely out of the equation and it wouldn't have made a difference. I think they got their letters.
Yep.
Yeah,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
That was exciting. I think for me, I was surprised with the Devin pick as well, and a little bit by Ashley as well. And it was not the conventional picks that you would have expected from Lauren, but she took the chance and she brought the people that she thought she can build a relationship with, and that's exactly what she did.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the Ashley one was the only one that was a little bit surprising to me that it happened, but it made sense.
Yep.
So after the reward, we actually don't go to the reward right away. We go back to the island. We go back to the losers back at camp. We see Joe moon the plane, which has become a tradition, I guess, to moon the reward winners. But while the others are gone, Joe and Mike hang out and create the Coconut Alliance. This seemed pretty desperate for attention.
I thought they were funny.
I think they thought they were funny.
It was a bit nuts.
They were trying really hard to be funny.
I thought they were funny. I think they're funny together. You know,
Yeah.
not greatly funny, but when you have a lack of entertainment, and this is about it, it's probably fun because it must be long, boring days. Because
for sure.
You know, how long are those days? I mean, because they're out there in the summer.
Yeah, and not every day are they really doing something.
Right. I mean, there's days when it's just you have like 12, 13, 14 hours of sun and the days just drag. So I would do anything for entertainment.
It was just interesting to watch because in the beginning, Mike and Joe were like on opposite sides, and to see them come to this point and driving people cuckoo for their coconuts, and that was just really just fun to see them just, you know, annoying Chrissy that much.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Well, at this point, when we're back at camp, this is when we see Ryan and Chrissy discuss the fact that the 7's secure. We got the 7. There's no reason for anyone to split. But when we get to 7, we're going to get rid of Ben. We have a plan. We're the only ones thinking ahead. So this is where we start to see kind of the just the confidence that they have in Ryan and Chrissy, and just kind of how they think they're the only ones playing their game. And we'll kind of get to more on that later.
And this is the part in the episode where I figured, all right, this isn't going to go as planned because they're editing it this way, and there is no way that it's going to be this easy.
For sure. But over at the reward, Lauren kind of tells everyone, well, I really brought you 4 here. This is why I brought this 4 together, because we're going to turn on the 7 early. This is a good group. They eat, they bond, they get their letters from home, and they really, I think the letters from home really, really bonded them together and really made it even harder for them to ever go back on this smaller alliance of 4 of Ashley, Devin, Lauren, and Ben, which I have not been a Ben fan. I've been fairly vocal about that all season. I thought he was fine this episode, but I am all for this alliance. I really like Lauren. I really like Devin, and Ashley started to step up this episode. So I think this group could be a lot of fun down the road. And at this point, they all expose the lies and the secrets that they know. Devin says Ryan has an idol. Lauren exposes her extra vote, and Ashley acknowledges that she knows nothing.
And Ben does not mention his idol. Did Ben have the idol at this point?
That had not happened.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't think it was necessary for Lauren to mention her extra vote. I mean, Ben was the only one who knew. I don't know if I would have had shared that because, again, I'm always thinking I don't want to appear as a threat. I don't want people to think that getting me out would be a positive thing because she does have that extra vote. So they know that at any point she can turn on them with that extra vote and vote one of them out.
But
I was a little surprised. Go ahead.
I think this is legitimately Lauren's end game plan, is this group. And so she says, since we are the end game group, I might as well tell you, because this is our team. This bonds us together. Devin, you told us about this secret that you know. I need to give something. And plus, I think if Ben already knew about this extra vote, and if he sees Lauren not speak up, he knows that she must not be fully into it. And that kind of takes away a little bit of the sincerity about it.
Yeah. And here's the thing: the 7 is nice. At some point, you know you're going to have to break up the 7. And right now, with 3 people not really aware of what's going on, it is a great chance for these 4 to pick up Mike and Joe, and so they can solidify the alliance. And let's face it, final 6 is better than final 7. So as long as the other 3 were not aware of this plan and they can grab Joe and Mike, they were set.
I also do believe Lauren's advantage is valid until 6. If I thought I do remember hearing that, I could be wrong.
Somebody wrote that it doesn't expire. I'm like, how does it not expire?
I think it goes until final 6. But while we're here, I do want to give a shout out to some people in the chat. We have Saul, who is missing today. Saul is in the chat, chatting along with us. He is acknowledging that he was kicked off the podcast because his team got eliminated. Only slightly true.
That's hilarious.
We also have Shell and Blake, and I think a few others here and there have been popping in and out. I want to say hi to everyone. Let us know your thoughts. I'll be sure to say something if I see something that really catches my eye here.
And I agree. So Lauren is becoming that beast that I knew she was gonna be.
The character that is Lauren Rimmer is not a character we've seen before, and I'm really enjoying this not stereotypical winner edit that we're kind of getting from her, and a winner potential. And I legitimately think a Lauren win could be good for the franchise as a whole.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Of Survivor. And that's probably getting ahead of myself right now. Probably need to take a step back. But speaking to some of the comments that we saw, I would love to see a Lauren win. That'd be all. She's one of the people I'm very high on.
And I can tell you that she's lost a lot of weight too. I was looking at her yesterday, and I'm like, she's lost a lot of weight. You can see it in her face. I'm like, holy, she had to lose like 15, 20 pounds.
So after this 4 get together and seem to agree to break away from the round table early, Ben finds his idol. He finds the clue, and then really just freaks out, just runs around everywhere, throws his hat, and finds the idol in a clay pot in a tree, and pretty happy about it. Not going to tell anyone, which I think is great.
Yes,
I'm not for telling people.
Keep it to yourself.
And I'm not surprised Ben found an idol, because no one I like ever finds an idol. It happens every time. That's generally the people I'm not fans of find idols. But
I wasn't happy he found it either. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, he was the last person I wanted to see that, but it just felt that idol sequence felt a little manufactured. Let's just put it that way.
Like maybe he found it before, and I don't know.
And why was the idol just a necklace of shells? I thought that was really odd. Not Shell, our viewer, not you, Shell. Like seashells.
We love you, Shell.
It is. I thought it was a very different looking idol than things we'd seen before, and even this season. So I thought that was odd. But that was all to that scene. We really moved right past that scene pretty quickly, and moved on to immunity challenge that I think is old and tired, that we've seen quite a few times before. I think this was a pretty lazy challenge, but they tried to add a twist to it. This is the who can stand on the floating doghouse the longest. They did give them a choice. Would you like to play or eat peanut butter and chocolate? And whenever I see peanut butter and chocolate in Survivor, I think back to the Amazon. And It's hard not to.
I agree.
It took a lot more to get peanut butter back then.
Yeah, it did.
But for this challenge, Ben, Devin, and Lauren choose to eat. I would choose to eat because I know I'm not winning this.
Yeah, I said I would choose to eat,
No
not
chance.
because I felt safe, because I
Yeah.
know I'm not gonna win, and
No
if
chance
I'm not
of
gonna win, I'm gonna eat.
And it's easier said than done, because I think if your back's against the wall, like you're Joe or Dr. Mike, you're gonna compete no matter what. But still,
this challenge leaves a lot up to chance. To be really honest, you don't know when the waves are coming.
I'm not really surprised. Devin, I think, would have been good at it because he is a surfer, as we saw. So as we keep going, it comes down to Dr. Mike and Ashley. Ashley is in her surfer pose, while I thought the position that Mike was in was the one I thought would make the most sense.
That's what I thought.
Turn to the side. But Ashley ends up winning this. This was nice. Another unique person winning immunity. No one's won twice. That's been kind of fun this season, that no one has won immunity twice.
Interesting.
So I thought this was was a pretty boring challenge, but I liked the outcome. It would have been fun, and as Kim, you mentioned earlier, it was nice seeing Dr. Mike compete so well. He is not someone that you think would be a challenge beast, and he got second in 2 challenges in a row.
Yeah, I like that. I was rooting for Mike, because I do a double. I will root for who I want to win, and then I'll think about my draft. But it would have been nice to see him win, just because I think he would have been so happy to have won immunity.
I agree.
It was a boring challenge, but I agree. I liked the outcome.
So after this immunity challenge, we go back to camp, and the round table 7 get together, and they decide what's going to happen. They're going to split the vote between Mike and Joe. They decide to make Mike the target because Chrissy thinks it'd be fun to keep Joe to the end. Whatever that's supposed to mean. So immediately after that, the new Alliance of 4 confirmed that they're going to attack on the other 3, on the JP, Ryan, or Chrissy faction. Which, nothing new to us. This is what they say they're going to do. But then we have a little twist in this. Devin comes up with a plan to have Ben play double agent and stay on JP, Ryan, and Chrissy's side as a mole, and to know what they're going to do after the fact. All they have to do is pull in the 2 desperate people that will vote with anyone that gives them attention, in Joe and Mike, and that's all they have to do. What do you guys think of Devin's move here? Was it trying too hard, doing too much, playing too cute, or was it really smart?
I thought it was.
I thought both. I thought it was a smart move, but I also thought he was a little bit cocky in this episode than we've seen before. So it was a smart move, but a little cocky. I think that you don't want to really play too hard, because if you're doing all this, it might put a target on your back. Either way, one of the people they wanted out were going to go.
Yeah, I thought this was a great move. I thought that he did a good job with it because he didn't push too hard for it. He didn't push for himself to be in that role, because then it looks greedy. But I agree with what Patty is saying in the chat. It gave Ben way too much power.
Yes.
You're really putting a lot in Ben's hands that he can it puts a spotlight on Ben later in the game to show how well I played this, how I double-crossed here, and how you guys thought I was with you. I think it puts a lot of power in Ben's hands when he already has a lot of power. So that's kind of concerning. Yeah. But I did think that this was a smart move. It was well thought out. It thought about more than just surviving this one. It thought about the future, that we are investing this move to help us with the next move, since we know Ryan has the idol. So I thought this was really smart.
A lot of good game players this season for different reasons. And I think that almost anyone can win. I don't see anyone going to the final 3 right now, or 2 whatever it is, probably 3, and that person winning and people flipping out and saying they didn't deserve to win. Everybody has put in some effort to play this game. You don't agree with me, do you?
I don't disagree. I think you went a little bit too far there by saying people won't get mad, because we've seen that even when we have 2 or 3 valid options and see the jury make a choice for one way and people getting mad. And specifically thinking the co-wrong finale, because Michelle did plenty, Aubrey did plenty, and just the jury chose one over the other.
I was bitter.
I think that's what, but I think that we'll kind of get into more of winner potential here towards the end. So we go right into Tribal Council. Nothing really happens too interesting at this Tribal Council. Everyone just kind of tiptoes around what's going on. The round table talk about how they're sticking together. The coconuts talk about how they're trying to find cracks in the alliance. No one's really saying too much. I think Devin made a good comment in there about, well, yeah, they're trying to find cracks. They might. We'll see what happens. Like, very much answering the question without answering the question. There was a lot of that from all sides. But when it comes down to vote, it is a 5-3-1 vote to eliminate JP. Ryan, JP, and Ben voted for Mike. Chrissy voted for Joe. Mark, why did they vote for JP?
Because they were sure that JP was not going to have an idol. That's basically it.
You think it was just straight up the idol?
I think it's straight up idol. Just because they knew Ryan had it, and they knew Ryan and Chrissy were pretty tight together, and that leaves the only odd man out, JP.
Yeah, I think the whole episode, once this came up, I was watching with a buddy of mine, and the whole time I was like, they're going to waste this move on JP. They're going to waste this big move on JP. Because, to me, why do you not vote for Ryan? This is the one time that you're really surprising. Once you make this move, once you make this move, you know they are against you.
Yeah. Ryan I just 100% felt safe. There was nothing.
Yeah.
It was a complete blindside. I said, if they vote out JP, they're stupid. Keeping Ryan and Chrissy in this game together was a dumb move. JP might be a nice guy, but he hasn't won a challenge. He hasn't won immunity yet. So I really didn't understand their thought process of voting him out. He was not a threat.
Either of the other two made more sense to me.
Chrissy or Ryan. I said they're stupid.
Because Ryan has the idol. You know he's strategic. Mm-hmm. Chrissy is the linchpin in between JP and Ryan. They're both connected to Chrissy, not each other, really.
This is the time to take out Ryan. I mean, he felt 100% safe, and this is a time where you knew he was not going to play his idol. Flush him out with the idol, and they got spooked by the idol, and they went the wrong way. And JP was not going to do a damn thing in this game.
I don't think they got spooked by the idol either.
I think that they just thought, let's get out the physical threat, but it still didn't make sense because JP still hadn't won an individual immunity yet. So what threat was he? So
JP can win the rest of the immunities, and he would still not win the game.
Yeah, and I think what it was, honestly, was I know even though Devin says he doesn't trust Ryan, I think he kind of wanted to keep Ryan in his back pocket, and I kind of think Ben felt the same way about Chrissy. That they kind of wanted to maybe keep them since when it got down to they were desperate, they would come crawling back, and Ashley just folded on JP. It was really interesting seeing we saw Ben and Chrissy so close together this season. We saw Ryan and Devin so close together this season. We saw JP and Ashley so close together this season, and they all split.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. I think one thing that was interesting to point out is JP does join a very historic crew in Survivor history, and being one of the few people to have 0 confessionals during his boot episode. He did not have a single confessional the whole episode. He had 5 the whole season.
What would he have had to say? He had nothing to say.
Every time he spoke, it made no sense. Also, JP did not do exit press. well, at least the phone call is normal. I think he was answering calls by email because he was busy.
Well, Allie tweeted that he's in paramedic school or something.
Yeah, and Cole also tweeted a picture of him and JP on a mountain together eating Nutella. So,
so maybe.
So we'll see. But I'm sure he was legitimately busy, or he just didn't have enough things to say. We'll see. Like, I liked JP. I had no problem with JP. He was an interesting character just because he was so out there and kind of non-existent. I thought it was kind of ironically funny. But well, since we have a double episode, we're not going to get into our draft right now, but we will have Kim give her goodbye to JP since JP was on her team.
Well, I hate that I lost draft points, but and I think it was a dumb move to vote him out. But with that said, I will hardly notice he's gone. Because I would forget sometimes he was there. He never spoke at Tribal. So I'll hardly notice he's gone, but I'll miss my draft points.
Yeah, I think JP's biggest role in the game was a vote for whatever Chrissy wanted.
Yeah.
And I think that it does hurt Chrissy, obviously, to lose him because she had 2 votes wherever she went. But I was really shocked to see the Ashley turn on JP so quickly. That's the one because they were so close at the beginning of the season. They were the power couple, remember? And
I think that the separate when they got split, it was never the same when they came back together.
No, absolutely, and that's I thought was really interesting here. But yeah, JP, he supposedly was on the show. He did good. He did fine. He was good in the team challenges because he had strength. But at least the individual challenges that we saw just weren't really up his alley, except for the one that he came down to the end with Cole. But we move on. We come back to camp because it is a 2-hour episode, and Joe is very proud of himself for the move that he just designed and that he was the mastermind of, and everyone's stupid, especially Ben. This was very infuriating. This made me have a lot more respect for Ben to actually keep his mouth shut and play along and just take what Joe is giving, because Joe is that type that would just continuously poke and poke and poke that would just drive me insane. And
I was how you really feel.
I know. I was proud of Ben for actually playing dumb, that he wasn't involved, playing that, yep, you guys got me. You guys turned on the round table. What do you guys think of, 1, Joe and the way he reacted after Tribal, 2, how bitter Chrissy was, and 3, how well Ben played dumb?
I also, 4, Ryan handled it very well.
Well, yeah, I'm getting to Ryan and Devin next.
Okay.
We'll just start.
Again, we saw, let's get back to Allie. You just sometimes just gotta suck it up and shut your mouth, because it doesn't help when you're flipping out. Yes, you're mad and you're angry, but it's Survivor. That's what happens. You know, you're gonna be lied to. Joe is Joe. Joe doesn't bother me like you do. I find him entertaining. So it was funny to me that he thought he had this big move and it was him. And I give Ben credit for definitely playing that part. And, you know, if they don't, Devin maybe shouldn't have put Ben in that spot, because Ben is really playing it good.
What do you think, Mark?
I think Ryan was right to keep his cool, and Joe, just all sorts of, he just rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. Joe liked to hear himself talk, but then again, This is the first time Joe's been on the right side of the vote in a while, so I'm not surprised. I probably would be pretty proud of myself too if I got out of the situation where I was definitely expected to be one of 2 people going home.
Yeah, but Joe could have kept his mouth shut too. He didn't really have to do anything to antagonize people. I know that's his game, but at this point,
That's
you're
just
on the
his
right side of the
game,
vote.
though.
Shut up.
He's not gonna go back to camp and keep quiet. That's just not who he is. And got this far in the game.
And then also back at camp, we see a conversation between Devin and Ryan, where Devin explains why he flipped on Ryan, where you told me I was the only one that knew about the idol, and you lied to me, and it sketched me out. And we talked about this last episode, where was this going to come down on? Where was this Ryan tells Devin, Ryan tells Ben, Ben tells Devin situation going to land?
We were wrong.
Where are we going to get? Yeah, because we said, is it going to be bad on Ben, where they see Ben is a loudmouth, or is it going to come back on Ryan? And we kind of wavered, and I think we mostly went against Ben, and I know I did.
I did too.
Well, and I just want to see Ben go, but I think this was really interesting. I don't think Devin had to be that blunt about it, but they were.
This is where he got a little cocky, and Ryan is a little cocky, but he's different cocky. He's kind of to himself cocky. Confessionals cocky.
Yeah. He's very cocky in his confessionals, for sure.
But he doesn't really show it. As mad as he was back at camp, he hid that. And he let Devin think, oh, it's all right. I understand. It's okay. We're good. Because that's what you're supposed to do. You kind of have to suck it up.
I do think you call it cocky from Devin, but I do think it is strategic that, hey, I'm making moves. You guys need to see, you guys that I'm about to put on the jury, you need to see that I'm working.
I agree.
And I think that's what I don't think that, because if you look at.
Devin said he wants people to see his moves.
Absolutely. If you see some secret scenes and some extended confessionals that are online from the past few episodes, you see Devin talking about, I'm playing a strategic game. He said in his preseason press that I come off as a dumb surfer dude. So
that's what Ryan called him.
That's the way I sound. That's the way people interpret me. I'm going to go for that. But no, I'm playing. I'm listening. I'm not giving my opinion. I'm not throwing people under the bus, but I'm gathering all this information and making it go my way. And then eventually you're going to know I'm playing the game when I vote you out. And I think that he's at the point where he's turning his game. And we saw that in both halves of this episode, that he's really trying to, I think he's playing for the jury now. I think he's trying to show all these jury members, or these soon-to-be jury members, that I'm the one that kicked you out. Remember that when you vote for me at the end. And I did it with a smile on my face, and you guys all love me. Because no one really dislikes Devin, I don't think.
No, everybody likes Devin. I still like Devin. I think he, I like Devin, and he's a nice guy, and he was really hurt by Ryan. Ryan lying to him is what
he was legit. You could see he was legitimately hurt by that.
Yeah.
So the next part, I'm really just going to skim through because it really didn't mean much of anything. And that's the reward challenge.
Which was so uneven. It was ridiculous.
Yes, the reward challenge. So we have 2 teams of 4 randomly chosen, swim out to a boat, paddle to collect logs, push to release puzzle pieces, solve a puzzle. Cool. The winner win a Survivor spa, a shower, wraps, and pie. We have the red team of Lauren, Ryan, Mike, and Chrissy. And when they show that, that's when you're like, uh-oh.
No, I knew that was it. I knew they weren't.
You immediately know, uh-oh. And then you see the blue team of Joe, Ashley, Devin, and Ben. I think no matter who, if you have Devin and Ben on your team together in a challenge like this, you're easily going to win with who's left. The blue team leads most of the time while Lauren does all the work. I think the scene of her pushing those logs through the tunnel with Beth was hilarious.
That was
she's such a beast.
She tried so hard.
Yeah, and she was playing it real hard.
Yeah.
But Blue struggles at the end with the puzzle, but end up finishing and winning it. And then at the actual spa, all that we really see is Ben playing up that he's being betrayed. Nothing really interesting happened. He still has to play up to Mike. I think the most interesting piece of this here was a confessional from Ryan that did make me laugh, where he's like, I can't win anything. I can't even win a veggie wrap. And I
Yeah.
thought that one did make me laugh.
Poor Ryan needs to eat.
Yeah,
The
true.
biggest thing that happened at the reward was you see a little one-on-one conversation between Devin and Ashley where they reconnect. We saw them so close together on the swap tribe where they would have probably gone to rocks for each other against Joe and Desi. But you really see they're like, we're playing similar games. And yesterday was a turning point for us. And now we got this. We need to stick together to the end. And I think, like, Ashley, I know she was called a goat last episode. And I think that woke her up. I really do think that woke her up because I was really impressed with Ashley this episode.
Me too.
I think that she sees what she's going to do. She performed well in the challenges. She is tight with her alliance, and within her alliance, she is making and facilitating important discussions. So that's all we really see at the spa. Nothing too much happens there. But while that's going on back at camp, we see Ryan talk to Dr. Mike and say, I always wanted to work with you. Remember when, don't ignore that I just tried to vote you out, but I've always wanted to work with you. This seemed pretty desperate here. But if we're talking about desperate, it's the next scene where we see Chrissy and Lauren. And Chrissy, who has not spoke strategy to Lauren at all, just has this big grin on her face. It's like, you know, it'd be crazy. We should work together. Ryan and I were talking, and before you guys turned on us, but we were talking, and we were planning on taking you to the final 3. So we should team up, right? We should team up. Like this is stereotypical Chrissy, and this made me cringe so hard. Where she has ignored Lauren the whole game, has not talked to her, has not talked strategy, had no use for her. And now all of a sudden, Chrissy's on the bottom, be like, "Oh, remember Lauren? We were best friends. We were going to take you to the final 3. We're good, right?" Like this, I don't know. I don't buy it from Chrissy. She seems so slimy, and the grin on her face as she's doing this just frustrates me. And as Patty says, she has no self-awareness of to how she's being perceived, and you could see Lauren just rolling her eyes while she's sitting there. Like, okay,
Lauren didn't care. But with the Ryan and Mike situation, I don't know why Mike didn't think, you know what, I'm going to be on the bottom of this other tribe, on this other alliance. Joe and I are at the bottom of this. So if we did flip to Ryan over here and vote someone out over there, we are the swing votes that matter. And I think that I would have flipped.
I'll get to some of that because there's some exit press that will shed some light there that I'll get to a little bit later. Okay. But I think that's a very valid point that I don't think Dr. Mike, I think he, at that point in time, he had someone groveling to him that had power over him for the last week or so. And now Mike was in charge and he wanted to own that. Yeah. That's how I interpreted that.
I did too, but I think it was a mistake.
Yeah.
And when he's saying that, I go, yeah, you know what? I know you're mad at Ryan right now, but you have to think numbers. You were at the bottom of that 6-person alliance. Because it was... Well,
he thinks it's 5. Because remember, they don't think Ben's involved.
Right. Okay. So then he's at the bottom of the 5-person alliance. He's at
but then he can... But you got to think, he can flip over and be at the bottom of the other 5. Because there's 8 there right now. There's 3 and 3 and 2.
Right. I thought... I knew he wouldn't. But I thought Mike should flip again, vote one of them out, and then... Again, they'll have the numbers on that side because I don't think that Ryan.
But then you're in the same position. You're there with Mike at the bottom of a 5.
Yeah, but he would have still had Joe.
Yeah, but he thought he was going to have Joe on the other side. Like for where he is right now, him and Joe can either go with Lauren, Devin, and Ashley, who all don't seem too much of a threat, or you can go with Chrissy, Ryan, and Ben. And you know that Ben's been running the game, and Chrissy and Ryan are both thought of as strategic threats. I think that's why that went. But as I said, I'll get to more of that from the exit press from whoever was eliminated here. Okay. There was a little bit of thought to that. But the next day is one of these ridiculously just terrible days that I kind of alluded to earlier. This was day 29. And because day 28 was the reward challenge and the immunity and vote out was day 30, day 29, nothing happened. Like it rained. Nothing happened. And this is when you see Chrissy lying in the shelter, just pretty miserable and defeated. The first time I watched this, I was mad because I was like, Chrissy has been running this game the whole time. And the second she faces any adversity, she's just pathetically crying. As I watched it today, she wasn't really crying. She was down and didn't really have a lot of energy and just kind of, it's raining, you're wet, you're gross, it's 29 days. I get it. But she was a little bit more strategic than I think I should have, than I originally gave her credit for, because she's sitting there really trying to make a bond with Dr. Mike, not really begging, not really whining, crying, and say, woe is me, you guys turned on me. It would be nice to sit and just have someone to eat with. I don't think they really talked game much. So I think this was, on my rewatch, I gave Chrissy a little bit more credit than I did the first time, for sure. The first time, it just made me mad.
Yeah, it definitely seemed a lot less desperate than when she was begging for Lauren.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think she just had a day to cool down, and the rain and everything is just kind of gives her a chance to be more, I guess, human.
Yeah.
And to show a little bit of weakness to the others, and I think that might help her a little bit.
Yeah, Kim, as the leader of the Chrissy fan club, what do you think?
Oh, I guess I agree with Ryan. I mean, not Ryan, Randy. The first time I saw it, I'm like, oh, Chrissy, whatever, boo-hoo. Yeah. And then, yes, then you think more about it, and you're like, this was probably all a move. Granted, I do think she was tired. I do think that the weather plays a huge factor in your mood. So it was maybe a little bit of defeat, but at the same time, she's still playing the game. So she's thinking, what can I do to try to get some sympathy or look more defeated than I am, because I don't want to be voted out. And if they think I'm more defeated, maybe they'll keep me because they think they can continually beat me.
Yeah. So then the next day, bright and sunny, we're past the rain. We go to the immunity challenge. And when they show it to us, you see this long, spread out obstacle course. And I thought this was going to be pretty crazy. It wasn't as crazy as I originally thought it was going to be. It was an obstacle course to maneuver pieces through ramps and beams to get to the end and unscramble a 12-letter word. And when they showed us what that 12-letter word was at the beginning when they were explaining the challenge, I rolled my eyes so loud that what sort of word was this? This is one of those, I just thought this was stupid. I thought this was a stupid word. But whatever, we'll get to the word, as we all hear and all know, was invulnerable. Why?
It's silly.
Why? That's not. No one said that. Has someone said that?
No, it's not a traditional Survivor sort of word, and I don't know how.
I get what it means. I get the point that, yeah, I want immunity. I'm invulnerable. No one says that. No one says that word.
I literally looked it up. I'm like, invulnerable? I heard vulnerable. I first thought the word was going to be vulnerable. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, because you do feel vulnerable in this game. But then I'm like, what? It was stupid.
Yeah,
the challenge was okay. It was fun, but it was, I think the word, after about a minute, was too easy to figure out.
The thing is,
yeah, what happened in the challenge? What happened in this challenge is what always happens in challenges like this, where everyone rushes through to get in them, and then all of a sudden everyone's just sitting there staring at the letters at the end of it. But as we go through, Ben, Devin, and Joe and Ashley get out to a pretty early lead. Ryan and Mike really struggled on this. They were back on the first part of it for most of the time. Devin is the first one to get to the word scramble, and as he acknowledges himself, he doesn't even have a 12-letter word in his vocabulary. So he has no idea. Everyone seems to get stuck on the letters, but Chrissy, I think, did a good job. She kept moving letters around when she got there while everyone else was just staring. And I think that's what you got to do. You got to move letters around, think of different ideas, and find something that stands out to you. And Chrissy ends up winning immunity, fulfilling her dream for however many years. As we said in our preseason preview, Chrissy says that she has applied for the show 34 times. She applied to all but one season when she was pregnant. So
I believe her. I 100%.
I believe her too. I think she's a big fan. So, what did you guys think of this challenge? What did you guys think of the word? And what did you guys think of Chrissy's win? And I want the audience to tell us too. Patty, Doug, Connor, all you guys that I see out there. What are your thoughts?
Here's the thing: that they had so many people had the word vulnerable up so early, and they just didn't know where to shove the I in the end, and that was what was so crazy to me. Like, it's not.
I've never in my life heard someone use that word. I just never really. I've heard people use vulnerable all the time, but I've never really heard anyone say invulnerable. So I think that kind of threw people off because it just didn't make sense. The challenge was okay, and when Chrissy won immunity, I put a really long no with a million explanation points because I just did not want her to win.
Well, invulnerable makes a lot more sense than metamorphosis.
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah.
Which one was worse? Invulnerable or metamorphosis? And as Blake
is way worse.
As Blake says, Chrissy's probably the one to win because she was the only one that knew the word invulnerable existed. Yeah, it was like I love these. Like this is the type of challenge I would be good at is word puzzles and things like that. I just thought that the word kind of rubbed me the wrong way. As far as Chrissy's win goes, I liked that someone new won. As we've been saying, this is another person that had not won a challenge before. As Doug made a good point that I meant to call out, we see Ashley completely dominated one section of it, taking 8 letters at a time and getting through there with all those stacked up. That was pretty cool to see her really getting through there. It was just the word that rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know why. But with with Chrissy winning, my only concern was, oh no, they'll know who to use the idol on with Ryan. But with Ben still there, I kind of forgot that Ben's still playing double agent. So I would have obviously loved to see Chrissy go because I'm not a fan. But I think she did a good job. She did a great job on that.
She deserved the win.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, she's, like you said, people underestimate Chrissy's physical ability because of her age. She's been good at challenges.
As we talked about last week with the reward where she swam and did so well on that challenge, got the buoy and dominated over Ben.
Yep. I mean, I don't know. I think, and she really needed that immunity, I think.
I think so too. But back at camp, we see the new Alliance of 4 get together and decide to vote out Joe. Even though Joe is on their side, they're going to go against him, which I thought was an interesting decision here. What do you guys think of that? Why did they think they should go for Joe instead of going against Ryan?
Because they're done. Ryan had the idol. They knew Ryan was going to play the idol. So yeah. Ryan wasn't an option.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was either Joe or Mike at this point in their thought process. If they were going to vote out either one, I thought that Mike would have been the one I would have voted out because, again, I really like Joe's personality. I think he's funny, but I don't know if he would win in the end. I think that he's really pissed too many people off to win. Granted, you can see both sides where taking him to the end, people might just say, hey, you know what? You battled your way here. We'll give you the win. But I just wasn't crazy about their thought process on voting Joe out. I didn't think it was a good move. In my opinion.
Did I? Yeah, well, Go ahead.
And we'll get to the other person in a minute. Yeah, you're just focusing on Joe and Mike.
Correct.
I would have voted out Mike over Joe if I was in the game.
Yep.
So in this next scene, Devin comes up with another sketchy plan, like he did in the first part, where he is going to trick the coconuts to think they're voting out Ben and have them and keep them on their side. That's how they're going to do this one. Ben plays it cool with Ryan and Chrissy, and very low key encourages Ryan to play his idol. Like, yeah, I think I would play one if I was you. Ben really impressed me with his double dealing this episode and how easily he played it off without playing it too hard.
Agree. And Ashley saw that too.
Yeah, exactly. That definitely went noticed. And that brings us to Lauren and Ashley start talking about Ben's going to be a threat in the Final Four. We would be stupid to bring Ben to the Final Four.
Nope, and I thought this was it. I said, this is it. This is a fantastic move. This is a winner move. You can get him out now. And I was really excited. I said, Ashley, play this game, man. This is a great idea. Lauren seems on board. So I'm thinking, I want it to be Ben, but they want us to think it's Ben, so it's Joe. I mean, when I look at the edit, I knew that it wasn't going to be Ben, but I really thought this had potential to be an epic blindside.
Yeah, I thought this was very interesting when it got to this point. And then Ashley, right after that, takes it to Devin. Devin seems kind of on board. He's shocked and excited by it. So then we get to Tribal Council, and Joe and Ben, Joe scolds Ben for being overconfident with the round table, saying that's why you guys failed. And they kind of argue about how is the round table 7 different than this new 5? You guys are just sticking together. It's the same thing, just different people. Nothing really interesting happened in this Tribal Council. It was more of the same, just kind of like skirting around the issues.
I just don't know why nobody listens to what Joe says. Like, why aren't you listening to him? He's making a lot of sense right now, but people don't know how to separate their feelings sometimes in this game. And voting Joe out was more personal, in my opinion.
Well, for the most part, I think it's the way that Joe delivers the message. He may be saying the same thing as someone else, but the way that he is delivering the message makes you not want to listen sometimes. And I think that's I think that was Joe's strategy kind of backfiring on him. But as they go to vote, Ryan plays his idol, and great. All for Ryan playing his idol. And
I would have played, even though it was a waste, he would have been an idiot not to play it.
Yeah, correct.
Especially with Chrissy winning immunity.
So we see a 4-2-2 vote. We see Joe and Mike voted for. They voted for Ryan. I'm sorry, my outline I said the wrong thing. They voted for Ryan. Those did not count. Ryan and Chrissy voted for Ashley, but then there was 4 votes for Joe. With Joe being eliminated. And you see that Ben did what he was supposed to. He sided with his new 4 and definitely exposed himself to Ryan and Chrissy. And you see Chrissy, I thought this was kind of funny to me, because as they're doing both this episode and the first episode, you see Chrissy sitting there counting the votes of like, wait, who flipped on us? Why couldn't you count the votes when Lauren didn't vote? I don't get it. I still am mad about that no one noticed that, but whatever. I just thought this was so funny because you legitimately see her there counting the votes after it's being done, and I just thought that was a funny little addition by the editors after what happened a couple weeks ago. What are your guys' thoughts on the decision? Mark, was this the right decision to eliminate Joe instead of flipping on Ben?
I think this was the wrong move. Joe was your number, and he didn't really have that much pull within the tribe just because of how he portrays himself. And so at this point, to get rid of your own number just for the sake of it is I know they all say within the game that he is good, but he is not as good as trying to get rid of like a Ben or Ryan.
But isn't Ben even more your number when you're in this 4?
True, but Ben is a bigger threat.
Yes, Ben is a bigger threat. You had a huge opportunity to get him out. Joe Joe has nobody in this game. So, I mean, it's Mike, but that's it. Voting out Ben, Joe, you could have voted him out next week. You know, it was a huge mistake. It was just as dumb as when they voted out JP. And
Well,
yes, I like this alliance, but I don't think they're making the right moves. I think it should have been, and I love Ryan, it should have been Ryan, Ben. Those would have been huge moves.
And honestly, I don't know. I think we're being blinded by the fact that we know Ben has an idol. So, of course, he would be a good person to get rid of because...
Not for me. I thought that they should have voted out Ben. And they know Ben is a double agent. That they know. They know that Ben is friends with everybody in camp. They know that Ben is the leader of almost everything. And that's without knowing he has an idol. So I think it was a dumb move. I don't know which one.
I don't agree. I think this was the right vote at the end of the day for the future. Because right now, then you're left with 4, 2, and 1 in these alliances. And then if you would have done that, then it would have been it would have been I'm trying to think. I got to do math. I'm struggling. It would have been 3, 2 and 2.
Yep.
So you're really putting yourself at risk of having the Coconuts and Ryan Chrissy team up. Yes, you have Lauren's extra vote, but all that does is tie you up for a rock draw situation. So I think the idea of getting rid of them, because right now Ben is on your side. There's no reason that they have to think that Ben is turning on them at this point in time. In the future, we may discuss that may be something, but so far in what we have seen, hasn't shown any reason to think that Ben is against you.
Yeah, this also leaves Mike nowhere to go but to them.
Or back to Ryan.
Which is
because also
currently the losing side.
You got to think, though, that Mike was also was turned on. Because Mike thought the whole time that they were voting out, that they were going to vote together as this new plan that they came up with. But he turned on him, too, and he lost Joe. So right now, Mike is kind of just floating and just trying to hope that people forget about him, in all honesty.
But do you think that Mike, because of this vote, now he was blindsided, will now go team up with Ryan and Chrissy and possibly bring back over Devin and Ashley? So you think Devin and Ashley are there to stay?
I think Devin and Ashley are there with Lauren to stay. I think if anything, we may see
them flip on Ben.
We may see Ben flip. Or Ben's going to be the swing vote, I really think, at the next. If it's a straight up no extra vote going on at the 7, I think we saw the beginnings of the Chrissy Mike thing when we saw them in the shelter when Chrissy was whining and complaining. I think we saw the beginning of those two connecting, and we saw that also with Mike and Ryan talking about how we should have connected a long time ago. I think this could be a start of a connection of those 3, and Ben in the middle having to figure out if he's going to keep with his 4 or go with Chrissy, Ryan, and Mike.
But do you see that the core will flip on Ben?
That's what I'm saying. Ben's the swing. He's going to be the deciding vote.
Do you think that they'll vote Ben out?
No, I don't think they have the numbers to.
Yeah,
at 7, maybe I would think at 6 or 5 is where they're going to get it. They would try to get him out, but at 7 they don't have the numbers to. I think they got to worry about keeping their power there, and if they can get past 7, then they should be pretty good, especially when they have the extra vote at 6.
Do you see? So you don't see the 4 flipping on each other at all?
Not at this point in time. Well, I don't see the core 3 of those 4 flipping on each other. At least
who to you are the core 3?
Lauren,
Ashley, and Ben.
And Devin.
And Devin.
Not Ben. Ben's on the outside. They all talked about trying to get rid of him. Ben's
okay. I just wanted to know where your head was there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
So from there, I guess we'll go ahead and talk about the draft.
Mark has to say his goodbye to.
Well, I'll let Mark do the goodbye after we give our
Okay.
on the draft here.
No problem.
There we go. Let me know when you can see it. Can you guys see it when I'm talking here? Can you see the draft?
Yes.
Okay. So in first, Kim is in first with 124 points. She is left with Ashley, Ryan, and Lauren. I think that's a good 3 right now. Then we have Mark in second place, only 4 points behind. That's just one immunity challenge. So you guys are pretty close, but you only have 2 people with Ben and Chrissy. Both of you guys lost someone this episode. I am holding strong in third place with Devin with 73 points. There's really no way I'll catch you, but all I can go for is having the title of maybe I have the winner because Devin showed a little bit of, that's really the only chance I have for any sort of points. Saul was kicked out, so he has 57. And then we're left with undrafted, quickly approaching Saul with 36 points, 35 of those being Dr. Mike. It has been pretty crazy this season as I look at all my drafts and see that I have some drafts where literally like the top 9 people in the draft have all been eliminated. Of people that were in the draft order, because the people that a lot of people thought were going to be really good preseason, the Desi's, the Allies, the Coles, the JPs, the Rourkes have all been eliminated. And it's pretty interesting with where we're at right at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Mark and I are really good at picking our drafts.
You guys had we've had 2 seasons of you guys doing pretty good here. So, Mark, what do you have to say about Joe?
For all the complaints we've had about Joe was actually much more sly and competitive than we could have imagined. Yes, his main game was to annoy people, and that he did very, very, very well, maybe a little too well. But he also had some strategy under that, and had this been some of the season, I think he might have gone a little further. It's not the winning strategy, but it would have been fun to watch him a little further down the line at how he might try to convince people that he should win. I don't know. But yeah, he was fun to watch, and thanks for bringing up my draft score, Joe, and I'll see you next time.
I want to say bye to Joe too. I miss seeing him on the TV, especially when he wears his glasses. He looks really hot when he wears his glasses.
I thought that I did not like Joe at the beginning. He won me over a little bit, where he was just entertainment in a season that didn't have a lot of characters like that. He was a unique character that I thought was good for the show. And he tried everything, and I really appreciated that from Joe. So now we get to the fun point of the podcast, where we always talk about who was your MVP of the episode, and I am having you.
You're gonna pick Mark first.
I'm having you pick one person for both of them together. You don't get one. This is person for the first half. This person for the second half. No, one person for this double episode 10. So, Mark, who was your MVP of the episode?
I have to give it to Lauren. I mean,
why was Lauren your MVP?
She pulled off strategic moves, even with just the first reward that where she picked people. She is showing that she has the game in the forefront of her mind, and I think that shows throughout both episodes. So that's why I'm giving it to her.
What about you, Kim? Who is your MVP of the episode?
Okay. I'm going to pick someone different only because I don't want to pick the same person. So I'm going to pick Devin. Even though Lauren is also, if I can pick 2 people, it'd be them. But because he chose Lauren, I'll pick Devin. Devin had some great moves in this episode, in both. So my move is to Devin. That's my MVP.
Yeah, I agree with you guys 100%. I think that Lauren and Devin are the 2.
We're gonna award them both MVPs.
I'm not gonna go for that just because I want to pick someone different. I thought about, I'm gonna give honorable mention to Ben for his sly moves, but I'm gonna give it to Ashley because I've been ignoring Ashley all season. We finally saw gameplay out of Ashley.
Good choice.
Disclaimer: I think it's really Lauren and Devin, but I want to give Ashley something. I thought that she won immunity. She put herself she got put in a good position. She is kind of the middleman of that group, and I think that she is helping with the strategic decisions. She's not the number one, but she's also that may be a good spot for her to be at.
It's fun to start to watch her start to actually play the game now. So she's actually trying now. So yes. I think that's fun to watch.
So this I'll also bring us back to an earlier question that Kim, you kind of mentioned that. Who are the viable winner candidates here? Are we at a point in time where we have 7 viable winner candidates?
We have a lot.
Is it because literally, as I said, I think we said last time, I think I wrote off JP, Ashley, and Joe as winner candidates. I actually think I might have written off Mike too. But at this point in time, we lost 2 of those people I didn't think could win. One stepped up, and I think Mike might be stepping up because of the situation he's in. If he can last, I don't know. I think Mike's probably the bottom of the barrel here when we're talking winner possibilities. But I think we are at a point where the final 3 could be an interesting combination of people.
It could be, and it won't be like dragging someone to the end, because really all 3 people could have a plausible argument on why they should win. Because honestly, you could really get rid of, I mean, we can say, we'll just take Mike out real quick, even though I think Mike is great. You can all have reasons why you should win. Yes, people will still be mad, but they're all playing great games, and it's a good season. So I think that there's a lot of viable winners. Too many to pick right now.
Yeah, I think that there's lots of interesting combinations. I would love to see, I don't think it'll happen, but this big 3 alliance right now of Lauren, Devin, Ashley, I think that would be fun. Just because it just so happens.
Pretty cool because I have 2 of them.
Yeah, and it's the people that I like aligning together, because Devin and Lauren are really my favorites of the season. But I think Ben could be interesting in the final. I think he's done a lot, and I don't think he's going to make it there because of everyone sees him as the biggest threat, I think. So it would be pretty hard for him to get there. But he also is in a good position of having his idol, having a strong 4, while the other group is still kind of like, yeah, they're going to be mad at him because he turned on them, but he's probably the one they're going to be least mad at because he didn't the first time because he was playing double agent. I don't know. As we go on, we look to the next episode. We will see reward competition with the loved ones. Ben's starting to get paranoid and looks like a fake immunity idol.
But I have a question about this. Was he telling Devin it's a fake immunity idol, or was he showing Devin like, oh, look it, this is for you? Because you really didn't get that from the commercial. Like, I wasn't sure if he was telling Devin, this is a fake immunity idol, or was he making Devin feel safe and saying, here, I'll use this on you?
Yeah, I think that could be interesting. I'm not sure what exactly
the way
Ben's plan is here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, because if I were Ben, I would let Devin feel safe.
Yeah.
Because he has to see that Devin is coming up with these great ideas. And Ben is getting paranoid at this point.
Thinking back to what I said I would talk about later, and the exit press from Joe did mention that his plan was to swing back and backstab Devin and vote out Devin from that group. But when that crew came to him and Joe with the plan of doing the 3-and-3 of using Lauren's vote, Ryan will use his idol, and then we'll revote and vote out Ben. He kind of saw it as, well, I'm getting out an idol, I'm getting out the extra vote, and I'm surviving. I might as well stick with this. So I think that's kind of where I think that fake plan that they had with Joe and Mike really is what did them in. That's the way it sounds, that they were going to go back on, that he wanted to go back on Devin. Honestly, is that really true, or is that revisionist history? We'll never know. That's the hard part with exit interviews.
Yeah, it happens so much later than when they taped it. They
Absolutely.
can make up anything they want.
Yeah, I was thinking of this 6-7 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any last minute thoughts before we wrap up here? Anything you want to say? Anything we missed? Any excitement that you have for next episode? We only have 3 more weeks of Survivor.
That sucks.
Yeah.
We have 4 or 5 hours. Well, 4 hours of gameplay and a reunion left.
I don't always. Sometimes I think the reunion show is boring because they don't really talk to some of the people I want them to talk to, and then I feel it's dragged way too long.
Yeah, I'm fine with the reunion. I like the reunion. I think it's very light and they don't get too much into it. And I bet it's always the same thing. You can basically write out what the script is going to be for the reunion.
He's only going to, I mean, you know, you'll forget that Simone and Patrick are there. He won't talk to a bunch of them. Like, they'll just come out and that's it. Not that he does it on purpose, but there's really not enough time to talk to all these people.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Mark, you have any last minute thoughts?
This was a fantastic 2 hours of show and a lot to talk about, and I think we covered most of it. And I just want to thank everybody for watching us. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was a good one. I know people have been talking about all season long, and Probst talked about at the beginning, is that the end of the game is great. It's building to the end. And as we talked about, what the show is doing was building these complex relationships. And that's what we're seeing a lot of. When we talked about this, that's what this episode was, a payoff of those complex relationships that we talked about last week, of who is everyone's number one? Who is everyone really aligned with? And then a lot of those number ones we saw splitting on each other.
Yes, we did.
We said Ryan and Devin were number ones with each other. We thought that we thought that Ben was close with Chrissy, even though we also thought he was close with Lauren. We see both ways there. So I think this was a great episode for those complex relationships, and that the time that Survivor spent at the beginning of the season investing in the stories of these relationships that may have been boring episodes at the time, they were building to something bigger. And I think we're at a point where we have 7 viable winners left where anything can happen. Yeah. With the shakeup of the round table really going away, really opened up the game. And there's lots of good relationships here that of people that have broken trust with each other that could come back together. Multiple combinations of people that have worked with each other, haven't worked with each other. I think we're in for something fun. I know a lot of people are thinking that, oh, they're saying it's going to be a fun finish because there's going to be a tie. There could be a tie. We don't know. And I know that people say that because Jeff explained last year why what would happen if a tie. I don't think Jeff's that stupid to telegraph it right then, because people said that right when he said, oh, next season must be a tie. It could happen. Who knows?
Well, what did he say? I don't remember.
Well, he basically explained that third place would have broken the tie. If Sarah and Brad would have tied, then Troyzan would have broken the tie.
He would have picked the winner.
Yeah, and he explained it. And it's been a long-standing theory for a long time that is what the tiebreaker was. But this was the first time that Survivor really told us, and people thought that telegraphed that next season is going to be a tie because they told us. So we aren't surprised then and there. I don't know. Survivor's been around for long enough. I think they know what they're doing without telegraphing it that much. I do think there is some fun to come in the next few episodes of some twists that may come out that I had heard a story about a twist. So we'll see what comes up. We won't really dig into that too much until the show really tells us about it. But I think some fun stuff is to come.
Are we heading for another Avenge-Geddon, do you think?
I don't think there's enough out there.
Okay.
All that we have left is 2. All that we have left is an idol and an extra vote. I don't know if that idol will be
Come back.
Rehidden.
Yeah, because we've had
we're
two that
getting
were
well.
played in the past 2 weeks, and I don't know if they were rehidden. Well, no, Ben found it.
One came back,
Ben found
yeah.
Mike's idol.
So
Okay.
we'll see.
We'll see.
Kim, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Kim_is__board.
What about you, Mark?
And you can find me on Twitter at MarcoPolo310.
And you guys can find me online at Randy Knoop, RandyYKNUP on Twitter. I'm always tweeting different stuff. So if you guys make sure to follow us, follow the podcast, tell your friends about the podcast. Let's see how many more people we can get in next week. Next week, we should have a good episode of 7 down to 6. It's always fun at the odd numbers. The odd numbers, that's a good time for crazy stuff to happen. And then honestly, this year with the extra vote, that makes even numbers crazy too. So I think I like that. I like that you can really figure out anything may happen. So until next time, we will see you guys next week at Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Central, 10:30 Eastern. Until then, have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.